Ready, go. And hiya everybody, Echo here, and today we're going to be, we're going to be working, doing stuff, I guess. Here we are. Ford! Can you give me dating tips? You're good at this. It's like we're made for each other. Or love meter for him. Wonderful. Okie dokie, well, that's where we left off. Now, let's continue. You wake up to a loud crash downstairs. Not entirely uncommon in this house, you're quickly finding out, but it's still disconcerting. More clatters and thumps lead you to the kitchen, where Mabel teeters on a short step ladder in front of the pantry. Standing on her tiptoes, she reaches as high as she can for a small, yellow box on the top shelf. Pancake mix. Without a word, you go to her side and pluck the box from the shelf for her, placing it in her outstretched hand. Oh, Echo, thank you. Uncle Stan put it on the top shelf for some reason, but I need some Mabel cakes. It's a breakfast emergency. She waggles her free fingers in your face, and you can't help but laugh. You can tell this house becomes more alive when this kid's around. Want to help me make them? We'll need chocolate milk, coffee, pink food coloring, and pot of golds to make this breakfast dream a breakfast reality. As delicious as that sounds, you're inclined to ask where the coffee comes into the mix when you realize the house is suspiciously quiet. Mabel, where is everyone? Oh, Uncle Stan needs some stuff for your car, so he went to the Mechie-techie stuff for that. And I think Uncle Ford's somewhere? He heard the abominable bro man was trying to steal soda from campers, so he went to go help them out. Yep, that's where he went. Totally knew that. So they left you guys to make breakfast on your own? You don't know the family very well yet to know this is a commonplace, so the idea of leaving two teenagers alone to fend for themselves seems fine. If one of the teenagers wasn't Mabel. You still don't know how coffee fits into her Mabel cakes, but you don't really want to know. Dipper attempts to hide the pancake mix from Mabel while she's grabbing the chocolate milk from the fridge. Apparently, he doesn't want to find out either. Mabel, while your Mabel cakes sound absolutely divine, why don't we, quick, think of something so you don't hurt her feelings? Go out for breakfast. Is there somewhere we can go out to get breakfast? We should really save the Mabel cakes till your great uncles get back. I know they wouldn't want to miss them, but I want to perfect my recipe. I have to get better at cooking and baking stuff so I can survive out there in the world. What if in high school I'll have to bake stuff and other people are better than me? Mabel looks very agitated, tugging at her hair with both hands. If I can't make the perfect Mabel cakes, then I'll never be on Bad Dreams Dining. I gotta impress Gerald Rambone, Echo. It's my destiny. Dipper. Maybe Dicker can help you make something different? We should save Mabel cakes for another day, a more special day. But Echo, Mabel, still standing there on the stepladder, reaches up and squishes your cheeks together, her wide eyes staring into your soul. Every day is a special day with Mabel cakes. You glance at Dipper, making a please help me and I'll buy you breakfast face, and you hope that he understands. Oh, please do, because I don't want to get food poisoning. I'm so sorry, Mabel. I don't mean to be rude. I'm sorry. Oh, perfect. Yeah, Mabel. I know you want to cook more since you're becoming an adult. Sure, but don't you think that Uncle Stan and Great Uncle Ford should be here to try them too, and not just me? Again. Mabel hops off the stepladder and ponders her brother's question, lips pursed. Eventually she nods, beaming at you both. You're right, Dipper. I can't deny them that experience. You give Dipper a thankful smile over Mabel's head as she puts the ingredients back in the refrigerator. He grins at you, rubbing the back of his neck. You wonder if he got that from one of his grunkles. Now, that's clever when you think about it. Great plus uncle is grunkle. Saves time on syllables. It's nice. We should go to Greasy's. They have some of the best pancakes there, with like 3 different kinds of syrup if you ask Lazy Susan nicely. Yeah, it's not super far. Let's go. The kids are about to head out of the kitchen when you realize something. Wait, aren't you gonna leave a note for your grunkles about where we're going? Oh right, good call. Dipper scribbles out a note for Stan and Ford and sticks it onto the front door of the shack with one of Mabel's stickers. The kids lead the way towards the town, explaining various landmarks, the wild and wonderful stories attached to them along the way. This is where we saw those 2 old ghosty people in a convenience store? Strange. But you nod regardless. Maybe she just meant that they were so old they looked like ghosts? Though, after what you heard about Gravity Falls already, you could believe that they were real ghosts. Dipper points to the diner in the distance, a log-shaped building atop a train cart. And the 3 of you head inside. You soon realize that the kids know just about everyone in this town. Several people, young and old. You wave at them as the 3 of you find a table, and you get the feeling that they're almost famous in Gravity Falls, though you're not entirely sure why. They're pretty cute though. Mabel blows the paper wrapper of her straw at Dipper's face and retaliates by swatting her with the laminated menu. Oh my god, I love doing that with straws. Whenever you take the end off of the paper thing and you blow it at people. Oh my god. I'll tell you, the other day I did that in the car and my sister was like, oh my god, what was that? It was fun. An elderly woman in pastel pink waiter dress comes up to the table. You catch the name on her tag. Susan. Hiya, kids and stranger. What can I get for ya? Pancakes and all 3 syrups for me, please. Lazy Susan? Same for me, actually. Lazy Susan turns to you, a notepad in hand. Waffles. Coming right up, sweetie. Lazy Susan winks, with her good eye, of course, which you can probably just assume is blinking, and heads to the back of the diner. The wait for your food to arrive feels longer here than most, mainly due to Mabel and Dipper using this time to interrogate you. At first it's somewhat intimidating. You literally crashed into their house, started hanging out with their great uncles, and so they have a lot of questions. Once the irrational fear of the 2 13-year-olds fades out, you recognize their interview for what it truly is. They care about their grunkles, and if you do start hanging out with them some more, they want to know as much about you as possible. Mabel's questions are somewhat nonsensical. So if you were stranded on a desert island with no boat, no cheating, what would you take with you? Well, Dippers are more careful and calculated. What were you doing here before you came here? School, work, both, neither? What did you know about Gravity Falls before you crashed into the shack? You immediately know which grunkle each twin takes after. Stan and Mabel, goofy partners in crime versus the quiet brainiacs, Ford and Dipper. It's an intriguing contrast, especially now that you've been thrown into the middle of brunch. Brunch. The twins race to see which syrup bottle drips into their mouth the fastest. Dipper's blueberry syrup beats Mabel's classic maple syrup by half a millisecond, you swear on it. You know, these kids do a lot more for their great uncles than just be cute counterparts. And there we go. Enjoy, kiddos. Let me know if you need anything else. Lazy Susan gives out their respective plates, and the kids go quiet, shoveling their food like they have never been fed before. Whoa. Honestly, though, mood. Whenever I was 13, I would just consume. Between mouthfuls, you get a few more questions about yourself, your theories on aliens versus which member of N synchronized was your favorite, but the table is nearly silent as the three of you eat. That is, until Mabel speaks up through a mouthful of pancake. So, Echo, in a totally made up and not real situation, if you had to pick who your favorite was, who'd you pick? Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford? This seems too planned compared to other cutesy questions. Dipper elbows his sister, not so subtly, and she elbows him right back, wide eyes staring at him with a sibling-linked look that you can't decipher. Personally, Ford. Absolutely Ford. There was absolutely no chance. Just Ford. I love the nerdy types. They're adorable. Honestly. I was actually raving about this in my loft after I played this game. Just me being like, oh my god, he's such a cutie pie boy. It was very interesting. Say you're in a movie, and it's one of those weird movies. Like one of those weird movies Grunkle Stan watches on TV with the ladies in the poofy dresses riding horses. Awfully specific, but you let her continue. You're the main character of this movie, and you got two guys both madly in love with you. This one doesn't mess around with getting to the point, huh? But you could only marry one of them, so you could be next in line for the throne. What would you do? If Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford were your choices, who would you go with? Mabel, that's kinda weird, isn't it? Like, really weird. And kinda gross. Come on, Dipper, this is important information. It's vital to my research. What research? None of your business. Yet. But I'm still gathering other research. Mabel leans towards Dipper's ear to whisper, waggling her brow at you before she replies, in not a whisper, but quite the opposite. Research into how you're a huge nerd! And with that, Mabel catapults a spoonful of melted butter from atop her pancakes into Dipper's cheek with a very satisfying Dipper jerks back in disgust, but retaliates by smearing strawberry syrup on Mabel's nose, the drop of stickiness plopping onto her sweater. Ew! You're gross. There's no... I don't know that word. I'm just gonna say that it's like the word rivalry between the twins, but lots of giggles and a few more various food missiles, especially syrup streaks. Eventually, syrup streaks Mabel's cheekbones and some of her hair, and Dipper has a small piece of pancake stuck to his face. You guys are dorks. You're right, but we're twins, so it's adorable. You're right, Mabel, you're adorable. If you say so, Mabel. Wait, quick, Echo, take a picture of us while Dipper's still got pancake on his face. I have what? He swipes at his face. After several passes, he gets it off. Oh, I was trying to get more candid pictures of us. Mabel, you have syrup everywhere. Ugh, really? Then it really would have been a great photo. Here, let me get it. Your hands are sticky enough. You get back up with a napkin in hand, and try to wipe some of the syrup off Mabel's cheeks. The excess syrup swipes off easily, but a good portion doesn't budge. I mean, maple syrup as makeup is the new look. Haha. That's one word for it, kid. The boys! We wondered where you went when we came back to a suspiciously quiet house. If it weren't for Dipper's note, we would have been worried. Sixer would have been worried. I tried to tell him that you kids pull this kind of stuff all the time, heading out unannounced, putting stress on your poor old grunkle's heart. He puts a hand over his heart dramatically. All those missing hours of unpaid child labor. Actually, that note wasn't me. Well, I wrote it, but Echo's the one who said we should do that so you'd know where we went. Both Ford and Stan look at you surprised. Really? Figured these two knuckleheads dragged you out here. Why not make breakfast at home? This place is at least a 15-minute walk from the shack. Well, you glance at Dipper, swiping his finger across Mabel's cheek and licking the blueberry syrup off of his finger. Mabel has a pancake in her mouth and chewing on it like a grazing sheep. I wanted to treat them to something. Guess it's the least I can do. You're letting me stay with you and fixing my car. I thought since you were gone, I'd take these two out for a change. Also, Mabel was gonna make Mabel cakes again, Dipper says. You're just mad because you can't even make toast right. Oh, burn! Just like the toast. Wait, yes I can. I burned it one time. One time. Dipper holds up his syrup-tipped finger in the air, indignant. Well, Mabel wanted you guys to enjoy her Mabel cakes too. And since there wasn't much food, I figured I'd take them out. Stan snatches the pancake from Mabel's mouth and takes a bite out of it, cackling when she stands on the seat and trying to grab it back, climbing over Dipper to reach. Aside from that, you catch Ford's eye. Was he staring at you? Well, he was looking. Lovely. As soon as he realizes, he quickly sets his gaze elsewhere, looking over your head and out the window. You say he probably just shifted his attention, but his finger hooks under the high neck of his sweater and tugs at it. Well, Echo, I appreciate you looking after Dipper and Mabel for us. It was very kind of you to bring them here. Oh, it wasn't a big deal, really. I'm happy to help. You smile at him, pretending you don't feel how warm your face is. Maybe it's just hot in the Greasy's diner. And Ford looks close to the shade of his sweater with how he's blushing. Look at him. Dipper mumbles an ow as you catch Mabel elbowing to his side, waggling her eyebrows at him. You're not sure why. Well, kid, if you're paying, scoot over, Dipper. I want breakfast too. Stanley, it's at least 12:30 now. Go Ford, that means it's time for brunch. Duh. See, this kid gets me. Now let me in so I can get some grub. Dipper moves to your side of the booth. As Stan sits next to Mabel, Ford sits at Dipper's side. Lazy Susan comes back and takes orders for another round of food and drinks for everyone, including Mabel, who decides she wants more pancakes. Yes. You are a lovely child. I would pat you if I can. Pat. You're starting to regret offering to pay, but as Stan and Mabel try their hand at syrup drip race, Dipper cheering them on, Ford watching with a wide grin on his face, you know you don't really mind that much. After the expedition to find Mothman, you accompanied Ford on a few other missions, so to speak, examining various birds of the forest, including the questionable stomach-faced duck, who snatched your sandwich and quickly ran off, Ford in hot pursuit. He didn't find what evidence he needed, something to do with our digestive systems, and you decided that the stomach-faced duck flock were questionable. Not as questionable as the question quail, which he shows you from a scanned journal page, but it's still questionable. You asked why he decided the octopus was too stupid to study, but received a loud groan and too sticky as an answer. A valid point. In all, your adventures with Ford have been enjoyable, more than you'd expected, and you can't help but hope that you'll get to experience another one with him soon. You walk through the living room, lost in thought about the question quails and Ford's journal pages, narrowly avoiding slipping on a sheet of graph paper. Ah! Don't look! Oh, it's you. Don't look at what, Dipper? What are you looking at? Ahem. Oh! Dipper peers out of the book and proclaims D, D, and more D, officially licensed campaign journal. Oh my god, it's Dungeons, Dungeons, and more Dungeons! He's sitting on the yellow armchair with his crisscrossed legs barricaded with books and papers. Oh my god, are we gonna play Dungeons and Dragons? Ow. I am a huge nerd for fantasy stuff. He's got a lap of multicolored dice, a dozen half-chewed pencils strewn across the floor, and one in his mouth. You look down and notice the floor is almost entirely covered in graph paper. Did you need something? I know it's kind of messy, I should probably clean that up. Dipper looks reluctant to extract himself from his self-constructed fantasy lore prison. Here, I can do it, you look busy. You're about halfway through cleaning the floor when you actually start looking at what's on the various sheets you're holding of fantasy maps and floor plans, countless scribbled notes and calculations and margins. What are these for? Planning something? Dipper's re-immersed in his planning. He startles a little when you ask. Oh, right. No big deal. It's for this great pen and paper role-playing game called Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. D, D, and MD. D, D, and more D. It's all about fantasy worlds and statistics and stuff, and, well, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it's super fun. I'm playing it with Uncle Ford today, so I'm just putting down the final touches on my dungeon. He's gonna be so stumped. Stumped, you say? Ford! Yeah! My nerd! Ford comes into the room at the precise moment, drying his hands on his trench coat. Ooh! Hi! Perfect timing, Dipper. I managed to get the paint off my hands. Paint from what? Oh, one of the gnomes came by, and he graffitied the side of the house. Something about his rapper persona. Yeesh. Yes, I don't think Gnomesy is going anywhere in the music business. In any event, I see you've been hard at work. Are you ready for our game? Oh, yes, Echo. I can take those now. Thanks for the help. Ford looks like he just noticed you standing there, for the first time since he entered the room. Echo! Glad to see you weren't too shaken up from our event yesterday. You grin and hand Dipper this tall stack of papers, and catch a glimpse of the stats for our knock-knock skull. Well, I made it back in one piece, right? Haha, that's the spirit! Though 90% of a piece would still be good too. You know, you never realize how little a difference 10% makes until you lose it. So how was the Mothman? Shaken up. All in the name of research, though. I've seen it lose a few moths and come back the next week good as new. A process akin to cycling out dead cells. I would say that we just expedited that process. No moral issues here. Well, Echo, the game calls and I must answer. Stanley is often about if you're looking for him, though, well, if you want to join our game, I certainly wouldn't object. I could promise a fun afternoon. Another player! Yeah! I could totally give you a pre-made character sheet to start and dice to shoot, where did I put my other set? Don't worry, I've got an extra set. Me? I don't even know how to play. Oh man, there's so many rules. Where to start? I mean, it's really easy to pick up. It's even, like, kind of popular now. You're not sure about committing the entire afternoon with this game with Ford, though Dipper does seem to be excited about it, but Stan's around too, and you wanted to check on your car. Well, think about it, Echo. Dipper, my boy. Why don't you and I set things up in the meantime? Dipper and Ford launched into fantasy lore talk as they prop up a cork board against the yellow armchair, pin up various maps and floor plans with important landmarks, and upend their pouches of dice onto the carpet. I'm going to join their game. Can I join? Great! Oh shoot! Did you look at the plans earlier? Those were for the Dungeon Master's eyes only. If only I'd known you were gonna join us, I didn't look. It's fine. What a relief. No, wait. What if you're lying to get an etched game? Is that legal? Go for it. What? I didn't hear. I was just categorizing these DD and more D books. How many volumes do they have nowadays? I am lying. I know all of your plans. Dipper and Ford put their final pieces in place. The floor is an encircled mix of propped up corkboards, books, maps, notes, loose leaf paper. Ford unfolds a game board in the center of the madness. Yes! Brilliant, we're all ready. Don't look so nervous, Echo. You'll have me to walk you through it. Thanks. Pulling up my calculator because there's gonna be a lot of math. And I don't like math. Honestly, I should just get a notebook at this point. Ford sits down next to the game board. He pats a piece of the carpet next to him, inviting you to sit, and you do. I'm sitting next to Ford. And Dipper is sitting across from us. On the other side of the game board, Dipper sits across from you, on the other side of the game board, and unfolds an illustrated piece of cardboard. Propping it up in front of him, he notices your questioning gaze on it and looks back at you. Oh yeah, it's just a Dungeon Master's screen. It's here to protect my secrets. It hides essential die rolls, plot points from prying player eyes. Uncle Ford tried to look ahead once or twice, and it spoiled a narrative twist, and you were the only player. I'm just making sure my dungeon mastering apprentice stays on his toes. You can never be too vigilant. Dipper gathers up his dice in a pile next to the Dungeon Master's screen, and he's ready to roll when needed. Now, I've mentioned an extra set of dice, didn't I? Dice are important, though by no means essential component of gameplay. No adventurer should have to leave the house without a set. I keep mine in the souvenir velvet dice bag from Dimension, local game store. Yes. Ford retrieves a dark drawstring bag from his coat, empties it onto the floor where dice of all different shapes and sizes come tumbling out. And now for yours. Ford pulls out another matching drawstring bag from the depths of his coat. Jesus Christ, his coat is like Mary Poppins' purse. You get anything from there. They were having a buy one get one discount, so go ahead, take a look. These will be yours for the session. You pour these dice onto the carpet as well, metallic gold with numbers embossed in black. Fancy. Well, I didn't have enough left to make them look from solid gold. I was able to electroplate a set for fun. Huh? Great Uncle Ford, you electroplated those dice? They're so nice! Rhyme. Wait, that didn't mean to rhyme. Oh. Maybe you should be the one with the rapping career, not Jay Gnomesy. Ford and Dipper laugh. I'm proud. I made him laugh. Yeah, maybe not, but anyway, let me reintroduce our characters. Dipper clears his throat, settling into the Dungeon Master persona. When we last left our heroes, Miv the Meddling trapped the great elven wizard Vernon and the halfling fighter Taros in a dungeon filled to the brim with puzzles, riddles, and brain teasers. To reach Miv and the end of this journey once and for all, they'll have to brave the dungeon's mysteries and escape with their lives intact. Dipper sets two figurines side by side on the game board. One is an opposing figure in flowing robes. The other is much shorter in comparison. but posed with the will to prove himself. You suppose that the former, so prove himself, Vernon, flowing robes is Teros. Okay. But what would our two heroes find in their first room in the dungeon? But a potential ally, just as trapped as they are, who will join them in their quest for freedom. Wonderful. Dipper places 3 figurines onto the carpet, just off the side of the game board. And you get to choose your character now. Echo. They're starters with pre-made templates, so they're good for short notice editions like this. I mean, in all honesty, most games that I play as the weirdest that I can, so I'll be a bard. Bards use invigorating song to encourage their allies, or blow of their insults to damage their enemies. I've kind of reevaluated my stance on bards lately. You'll come in handy if we encounter any undead. Oh my god. Oh my god. From the Scary Oki, I believe that's what the episode is called. Scary Oki. Basically, like, Mabel's throwing this giant party with karaoke and stuff. She's like, okay, we're gonna do karaoke night, and she invited everyone to come, and not a lot of people showed up, I believe. And so Dipper summoned the undead to get the FBI agents to, notice him and, like, hey, I got all these cool things, and I can help your investigation. Look, I can summon the undead. So he did just that, but he didn't know how to get rid of them, and there was no weakness. So him, Mabel, and Grunkle Stan all sang "Taking Over Midnight" by and Sandra, I believe. Oh? Will we? Hey, stop trying to play ahead! Be a human bard? Yes! Moves your figurine on the board next to Vernon Teros. Okay, what's their name going to be? Alex, short for Alexandrios. Oh shoot, you got things! Okay, so I got strength, dexterity. I always forget what that one is. I know this is intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. What's con? What does con stand for? Oh, weapons. My inventory. I have a loot, candles, costume, water skin, disguise kit, rations, mystic, amulet, hourglass, jade pendant, and golden bellflower. Okay. Get ready, because this is going to take a while. Our heroes encounter Alexandrios, Alex for short, in the first room of the dungeon. Alex, what's your deal with our main villain, Miv the Meddling? Miv promised me eternal glory, but left a dagger in my back instead. Alex explains how they struck Miv's ire, and in turn, Teros shares that Miv once bested him in a duel, an embarrassment because Miv is a sorcerer, and sorcerers aren't known for their physical combat skills. Teros' defense, he was still young at the time. But none of this matters because to finally face down Miv, they must escape. Oh my god! Oh my god! We're actually in the thing! Proceed with caution, homies.
Behind you is a plain door. On the far wall of the room is a set of red doors, and to the left there are old... Oh my god! I know these! Okay, so this is Stan. It actually tells a story because... Oh my god. Okay, give me a minute here. Okay. I can piece together what everything represents. This one, the fish, is Stan. This is on his hat. The blue flame, these look like flames, and in the very last episode, his mind gets erased, and in his mind, blue flames light up everything, destroying Bill and destroying all of his memories, but he slowly gains them back. And now, this one. This is Mabel. She radiates hope and happiness, but the gradient can represent that she, you know, has a darker side. And they're twins, so they both have the same thing on here. He has an aliens because he likes strange things. He likes the paranormal. She has a pig because her pig is Waddles. And this right here, this is a pine tree. That's on his hat. He's experienced darkness, but everything will come back into fruition. Bill Cipher. Bill Cipher, blue flames everywhere, and question marks because he loves mystery. The portal. This is the portal that Ford built in an attempt to, you know, gain more knowledge and power because Bill tricked him. The portal that was built and destroyed, and this is Bill. His arms reached down, and you know, they almost took him. And this up here can represent the fact that both Bill and Grunkle Stan's mind were both erased in the blazes of blue flames. Sorry, I'm a nerd. I'm just going to say this as simply as I can. It all represents story, and I love it. Oh, shoot, that was really big spoilers. I am so sorry. Oh, shoot. Behind you is a plain door. On the far wall of the room is a set of red doors. And to the left and right there are old stained glass windows with weirdly familiar motifs on them. Having been woken up here with no recollection of getting here at all, you have no way of knowing which door you came in, you should go out of, or even what direction you should head in at all. And now you guys decide what you want to do. You might want to look around first. And by that, of course, we mean rolling a die to see if we notice anything. The outcome of nearly every substantial choice we make is all tied to the roll of a die. I'll let you choose what to do here, Echo. Then I'll take a look around. Ford shows you what to roll for the investigation check, and Dipper flips through his notebook, ready to tell you what you see. Nice roll. Tack to one of the walls. You see tack to one of the walls in the room. You see tacked to one of the walls of this room is a note that reads, "Proceed with caution, homies." Taros pockets the note, and in the distance you hear the faint sound of rushing water. What do you do next? What's the state of the door behind us? See for yourself. I'm still the DM. I can't respond unless you check the door. Ford casts Detect Magic, and after confirming with Dipper there is no magic behind the door, pushes it open, and the three of you leave through the door. Nice! As the last of you step through the doorway, it melts, seeping into the wall as if it were never there. Guess we're not going back that way. The chandelier overhead ignites, causing the whole room in a casting the room in a warm orange glow, revealing an impressive door on the far side of the wall. In front of it is a large cloth-covered lump. Gonna take a look around. You roll for investigation, just like earlier. You approach to inspect it as your footsteps grow near the lump's shifts, rising to reveal that it is in fact a goblin. The goblin stands at attention and tries to pretend that it was never asleep. Travelers, I notice thee, and demand you answer these riddles 3. The goblin reaches into his pockets, pulling out a crumpled piece of paper that he unfolds with care. What has 88 keys but can't open a single door? A piano! Correct. Next, what kind of keys cannot open doors? 4, do you want to answer it? A turnkey. And finally, what is the first thing you did on your adventure? Look around. The door is now open to you. Fabulous, homies. I'm sorry. I find this to be very interesting. Just give me a second. I'm moving around. Okay. I now have my blanket, because it is cold. Fabulous, homies. Thanks, dude. The goblin steps aside to let you go through the doorway. And with that, you've cleared the goblin puzzle. Well, a 4th of them. Anyways, it could have gone so many other ways. Dipper then beams as you follow his line of sight to realize that Ford just gave Dipper an encouraging smile of his own. Oh! As soon as you enter the next room, the wall melds over the doorway, sealing you in. Glancing around as far as the far wall of the room seems to be in a very different material and color than the rest. Oh, not this again. Though it could just be lighting. To the left, you see rows of keys fixed to the wall. Wait, hold on, I didn't read that for you. After inspecting and interacting with the keys for a few minutes, you come to realize a few things. There are 26 keys. You can touch them to make them glow, and you can only touch 6 of the keys at a time. Once all 7 are touched, all keys fade back to their original color. Each key is labeled with integers that run consecutively from 1 to 26, starting with the leftmost key. Seems we need a password for this one, Echo. If the puzzle is fair, it must be a word we've already been introduced to, one that stands out. It's homies, isn't it? Hold on, how many letters is homies? Give me a second. 1 second, just... It is 6 letters. You think back to the first room, when Taros pocketed the note from the first room in the dungeon. What was the word again? Homies! You spell out homies. All the keys illuminate in unison, then disappear. The room rumbles, and you turn around to find a green glass door. Walking up to it, you get a closer look. You see that engraved in this door is a riddle. door reads, if you go into the green glass door, you can bring a ball, but not a bat. You can bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. You can bring coffee, but not tea. You can bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. If you wish to pass, you must present an acceptable offering. This is interesting. Let's think. A ball, but not a bat. I understand. I think I understand. Echo, what can you bring to the door? Bring a ball, not a bat. Bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. Bring coffee, but not tea. Bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. Man, I can't explain why I'm getting so many calls. Goodness gracious. I can honestly say that I don't know. Huh. This is interesting. Okay. Bring a ball, not a bat. Bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. A coffee, but not tea. You bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. Why are they looking at me so expectantly? I can't solve this. What? Okay. I unfortunately am going to have to look this up because I don't want to mess it up and get everything wrong. I don't know. An hourglass? Terrace offers his cutlass. The door dissolves, letting the party pass through. Gasp! Art! It's so pretty! Oh, I love it! You glance at Ford and notice he was watching you. Figure the puzzle out the entire time. Oh, wonderful. He gets to see me sitting here looking like an idiot. Even if you weren't good at it, before you make eye contact with him, he turns his head facing back to the game board in the floor and... Granicle Ford, are you okay? Oh, yes, Dipper, I'm fine. Why is your face so red? Oh... You take a second look and find that Ford does indeed look a little red. Ford stammers his way through. It's a little warm in here. You ask if he's alright.
You would guess wearing a turtleneck in the summer would do that to a guy. Or literally any Dipper! He looks so suspicious. I'm not doing anything, I swear. Stop looking at me like that, Dipper. I'm sorry. I whoop you on the nose. The green glass door swings open. You go through. To freedom. And there it is! The end of the dungeon. I cut it down a bit on the fly. I didn't want to make this too long. I would have ran a murder mystery I've planned for ages, but my tests have never, gone very well with my focus group. So, what do you think? I actually think this is great. So, what happens next? Do we get to fight the sorcerer? This was actually a transition in the next super plot-centric campaign about infiltrating the sorcerer's tower castle. Oh my gosh, really? Dipper shows you a couple pages of his campaign sketchbook, which looks to be filled with various dungeon sketches and with realistic physics calculations crowded in every square space. Dipper, I think you did really well. It's not easy adding an extra player on short notice like that. I always write it in just in case. Not completely, but it's just a few notes. Dipper and Ford launch into a conversation about dungeon mastering as they clean up the DD and more D setup, returning the game components to the originally glossy fantasy box. They're too fast and practiced for you to figure out how to help, so you just pick up the dice Ford lent to you and return them to their original velvet bag. Dipper leaves and puts the D&D DD and more D book box back upstairs, and it's just you and Ford. Hey Ford, how you doing? Echo, you did really well for a first timer. I'd take you into a dungeon with me. Thanks. He gives you an embarrassed smile, but you're already smiling at him yourself. He's such a nerd. I know what you mean. Thanks, Ford. A call comes from the kitchen, from what sounds like Stan. Haha, well, I'd like to talk more, but I better see what he needs. Ford moves past you. Ford moves past you, heading towards the kitchen. You suddenly feel the need to hold on to this moment, like you need to say something else. Ford? Yes? Now that he's looking at you again, you don't remember what you were going to say. All you say is, here's your set of dice back. Thank you for letting me use it. Honestly, I love this trope, where you're, like, right about to say something, but as soon as you see him, you're just clamped up, like, oh, hi. Ford chuckles, shaking his head. No, you keep it, in case you decide to join us for next time. See you at dinner, Echo. Okay. Is that more? I think that's more! And I think that's also where we're going to leave it off for this video. I will see you all next time!